Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Perafilozof City Skylines videos. In this one I'll be continuing to build up the city in which I plan to reach 1 million population on the hard mode. In the previous episode I had reached around 109,000 population and I started building up the last tile that I had unlocked and started building on. That was the one over here. I had finished up this area and now started up building this one. I had a problem with the population because I couldn't get up anymore from 1,000 and 108,000, but once I had reduced the taxes from the low density and the high density residential zones, I had around 1,000 sims move in. But since then I have had death waves because my seniors are dying, so that reduced the population, and also the residential demand seems to have stalled once again, and again no new buildings are being built up. Not sure what else I can do about this. I can just keep expanding here with the residential zones. I need 4 and then another 4. Even though there's no demand, that's okay because I want them to be building up here, and after the residential zones would go more commercial zones over here like this. I think I'm gonna go 3 and then 2. So I'll wait for these ones that take up 3x4 to build up, and then I will build the ones that go 2x4 or 2x6 or 2x3. Now that this goes up, it's going to require more workers, and hopefully that is going to bring in more teams into the city if they see that there is a lot more open jobs for them to take. The high density commercial is easily going up. As for the happiness levels, I have finally figured out, with the help of one of my subscribers, how to make sure to see what areas are covered by a cargo train station. Watch this. If I go to speed 1, I turn off this cargo train terminal, watch the red faces. They go right above the building that is at level 3. If I turn it back on, again the happy faces only go about here, so exactly where I have ended with the level 3 industrial buildings. And if we go back to this part of the city and go and turn off this one, watch this. Red, 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 stopped. No red. If I turn back on, green, 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 and comes up short here. So that's the reason why these things are still at level 2 and these things at level 3, because the influence area of the cargo train terminal goes only up to here. But now, even more interestingly, if I turn this off and I watch the red faces, what is this? There are no red faces here, but the industry here is at level 3. Again, very interesting. Not even sure then, is it the cargo train station which has leveled up this industry here, or is it some other effect of the services or the parks? I mean, the parks seem to be counted as entertainment. The leisure activities that are gained from park coverage seem to be called entertainment, and if you have watched that video in which I showed you what is necessary for buildings to level up, there is a small number, I think about 0.175 or 0.125, that influences the industry and says entertainment. So it seems that entertainment is from the leisure activities and the leisure activities are from the parks. So there seems to be some influence in the end from the parks to the industrial areas. So over here the commercial areas did build up, and I can build now the last 2x3 and 2x4 area over here. Now what I want is this new amount of jobs that I have open. The differential is now at 1,700 jobs. The new jobs should call in more teams to move in to take up those jobs and become workers in my city. So hopefully all of these zones that I have previously zoned with high density residential should be soon filled up. In this part of the city, while I was redoing the zones, you will notice that I made a lot of commercial zones here next to the industry, while the offices are here next to the residential zones, which means that the offices are going to prevent the commercial zones from gaining high land value. Now, like I said, this ends up being actually a problem, because then the high density commercial buildings can't level up because they do not have the land value, but the offices do not need the land value, they need to be covered by more services. So what I could do is at this point switch over these offices for the commercial areas and move the offices over here. At the moment, I'm not sure I would even have enough of the land value to level up the commercial areas to level 3, because if you take a look here, not even the residential zones are able to go up to level 4, and if they are unable to go up to level 4, the commercial buildings would not go up to level 3. So that's the reason why I gave up on that idea of moving this entire area around. Another interesting thing is just how much am I exporting of forestry goods. I would say about 500, 600, while I'm importing around that much as well. So another thing that's very annoying. If I'm already producing, and exporting, why the hell am I importing those goods? But nothing can be done about that until the developers see what exactly is going on and explain it to us. As for the garbage, I should check how's the water over here. Still the pollution keeps expanding. The problem is whenever you add one of these things and it starts to drain 160,000 cubic meters of sewage into the water, it creates its own water source and creates these arrows going this way, while the water pumping stations are creating these strong currents because they're taking in so much water. So soon enough I'll have to keep moving the water pumping stations down here over to the left, while the sewage pumping stations will keep going over here to the right. But that's something that I'll worry about later on. The budget is still in the green. I'm still earning money with the taxes being 13% on the offices and the commercial, as well as low and high density. I don't really have to care about low density. I don't even have any more low density commercial buildings. The industry will not go with the taxes above 12%. I tried 2 times, so definitely has to stay at 12. With the taxes on 11% for high density residential, I am still in the green with the budget and yet have a few more teams moving in from time to time. But the problem is, if I were to reduce this down to 10%, I will start losing money, so I cannot reduce the tax. What I can do is reduce the tax on the low density, but like I said in the previous video, I'm not sure whether or not this would even influence the demand, or would it just increase the demand for low density zoned areas and not for the high density, because there are 2 levels of tax but only 1 demand. So I'm not clear on how does that work. So let's go back up to speed 3. I had expanded the bus line network over here, and that should help level up these buildings because they do require the bus services. The offices are still saying that they need more services, even though they're covered by bus, by metro, by fire stations, by schools, elementaries and high schools, even by the police station, so they're pretty much covered by everything, yet they keep saying they need more services. Really not sure what else could I possibly give them. As for the population, it keeps around 109,000. It doesn't really go up more than that. Don't be confused by the pop-up sign saying that the roads are not connected. That's because these are the one-ways of the highway ramps down here below the highway, so the highway is operating properly. It's the ramps that say that they're at the end of the road. In this area I had expanded down with the ramps and the two lanes. The zones are kind of okay. There is a few over here that are 3x4 instead of 4x4, but that's fine. And over here as well, some of the areas are not full as they might be. And down here they are of course going to get ruined by intersections of 2-lane 2-ways. Still at 108,900, not going up when it comes to the population. Number of jobs, still a lot of jobs open. And now you probably see the problem with this is that no new population is coming into the city, and I am unable to reduce the tax anymore, because if I were to do so I will start losing money. I mean, I can reduce it because I wouldn't lose that much and I already have a lot in the bank, that it wouldn't create such a problem, but I'm not sure would it even influence the population to go up any higher than this, because the taxes themselves are not the only thing that influences more residents to move in. This area here I can keep on expanding with this single district. Like I explained in the previous episode, the district is comprised out of all these zones, but considering the policies that I'm using, parks and recreation influences the parks, pet ban influences the residential zones, and the big business ban factor influences the commercial zones. So it's okay to have this just one district because all the policies influence different kinds of buildings. Still no increase, 109,114, 141. So not sure what else can I do to increase the amount of population. There's no policy that will help with that. The buildings themselves are not always at full, but about 80 to 90% seems to be their maximum. I guess I can only sit here and wait. I have reduced the tax so much that my income is barely in the green, and only the ticket sales are keeping me in the green. If I lost any ticket sales, I would lose my income as well. So I guess the residential demand is just simply stalled here at the moment. There's no new residential demand. The taxes for low density I had reduced to 8% and that did not help, so I'll send it back up to 11%. I think the same goes for the high density residential. Can go back to 11% because there's just no change with the population at the tax of 10%. Not sure what else I can do. I mean, I can zone for more jobs. I can get offices here now, 4x4. After that I can get perhaps generic industry, 4x4. Oh, right, this area is kinda ugly. Let's see what we can get out of it. Still the population is at around the same number, and I do not see any more buildings being built up either. I guess what I will try and do is now dezone these areas over here where there's obviously no new buildings building up, and try and get those buildings to build up over there in the new zone. Alright, so I've dezoned the high density residential zones which were not getting any new buildings in these areas, also some in here, so I'm hoping that this will force them to build new buildings over here. The population did go up a little bit, but don't get tricked, it's only because the higher birth rate than the death rate, because the senior count is now down to 22%. So it's the new Sims that are born in the city, not the new Sims that are moving into the city. I'm still running at speed 3, it's already been 15 minutes of this video, but as you can see nothing is going on here to provide me with more Sims. Whatever it is that's holding up the population, I honestly do not know what exactly is it. I would love to know, but I cannot seem to figure out what that is. The taxes should not be a problem because I used to have taxes at like 12 and 13%, so at this tax rate there should not be a problem with that. The number of jobs available is pretty high. There is already 1,000 jobs more than I have the population, than I have the workforce for them. I mean, I could keep expanding here, just let's see whether there are more industry or offices. I'm still exporting goods, so no, would not need more industry. I guess then the offices would be building up here. And if that's offices, I guess after that I can just go with the 2 lines of commercial. This should provide even more open jobs and provide places for the industry to export their goods. All this is covered by services, covered by bus stops. I think I can get a new metro here. Exactly. From here to, let's say, over here. Can draw the metro line, the red one, from over here down here. And I can probably even connect this metro station with this one over here and get another line connected, let's say the yellow line over here and then up here into this one. So that should provide even better coverage. This red one should be connected back into here as well. Alright, so that should pretty much take care of the public transportation. The schools have good coverage. If I want to build more residential here, I will get a new school here. But like I said, still the same issue of not having enough residential demand and no new teams. I mean, the population is up to 110,000, 110,400, but still that's because I have high birth rate. And I don't think that's actually new teams that are moving in, just the new teams that are born in this city. If I had teams moving in, I think then I would have buildings being built up. Because of the fact that there are no new buildings being built up in the residential zones, it's actually the teams who are born into this city which are increasing the population numbers. I do have one remaining incineration plant that's turned off here, but I already have enough capacity for another 30,000 units per week, and I have another one here, so I don't have to really worry about the garbage accumulation. What's this? To few services. Another thing that's something that I can't figure out what's going on. Could be that they count the service from a school as well. Let's see about that. Let's place a school here. Is this going to remove this pop-up? I mean, there's no way that it's police coverage, no way that it's fire safety coverage, no way that it's health or death care coverage. Only thing remaining is the elementary and maybe university coverage. Oh, here we go. This pop-up went away, so it must be the school coverage in the end that's responsible for this low service pop-up. Like I said in I think 2 episodes back, the problem is if I were to try and cover with the schools all the zones and not just the residential zones, I would pretty much go bankrupt. So that just does not work out like that. Seem to have a good income at the moment, around 10,000, which is excellent. I need to also expand down here with the big business policy to cover the new commercial areas, and that will increase my income even more. You can see that the income from the commercial areas is up to 98,000. I'm actually earning far more from the commercial areas than I'm earning from the residential, because not only am I taxing them more, but I am also using the business benefactor, which is increasing the amount of taxes, not the taxes percent, but the total amount of taxes that they can pay. Soon I will need new parks over here. How's the number of jobs? 59,400, filled 58,100. Alright, 111,000 population, 111,200. I'm not sure, is anybody moving in, or is this still from the birth death ratio? I should have only 50 per week going up, but I have over 100 going up per week, so it might be that finally I have more teams moving into the city. That would be excellent news. I don't really see any new buildings building up, but it's important that I'm increasing the population numbers. I'm not sure whether all of these buildings are filled up with workers. They seem to be, which is excellent. How's the coverage from schools? Now I have over 1,000 eligible more for education. I'll definitely need to turn back on the 2 schools I turned off in the previous episode. This should make sure that I have enough capacity, so 6,900, eligible 7,200. I may actually need another elementary school. Over here I've got 1, 2, 3. Over here I've got 1, 2, 3. And because there is so much more high density residential here, I may even get a new one over there. It's annoying that I can't really see where it's necessary, but I would assume where I have the fewest number, that's where I should get another one. I just see where to plop it. Let's see over here. Then again, that's not where all the residents are. Maybe better to go over here somewhere. There we go. That should take care of the capacity for elementary school. As for the high schools, I would need 5 more high schools, but that would pretty much break my bank if I were to do that. I did add one over here. This one would cost 700. I do have an income of 5,000. Okay, I will bite the bullet and get another one here. I seem to be hearing a lot of level ups. Huh. Interesting. That's a lot of new buildings building up. Oh, they're not building up, they're upgrading, right. The interesting thing is they started upgrading as soon as I had dropped this elementary school here. And yet they were saying that they needed land value. Oh, no, now they say educate more to upgrade. Interestingly enough, I usually had them say that they needed high land value to upgrade. But now they say educate more to upgrade. Alright, makes sense actually. If I did raise the land value with more buildings popping up, that means that they need more education. I should have enough university coverage, enough elementary school coverage, and the high schools always not enough. I'm not sure where should I even place anymore. To over here, to over here, to here, to here. Not sure where would I need more. This one is at 1,000 out of 1,000 as soon as it was plopped. I could... no, I cannot increase the budget for elementaries. I will have to increase the budget for all the schools at the same time. I cannot increase just for the high schools. So I have to build another high school or 2 in these areas if I wanted to have better coverage. It's a good question. What do they say? Increase the value of land. You see, some of them say increase the value of land, while others say increase their education level if you want them to level up. Educate more. While these say land value. So, kind of hard to pinpoint who exactly wants what. Over here, still cover a bit more services. What possible service could you possibly need? If you would please tell me, I would build it for you. How's the population? 112,000 500. The birth count is higher at about 100 than the death count, seniors at just 22%. Available jobs are higher by 1,300 than the jobs that I have. And yet no new buildings building up here. Pretty annoying actually. I was hoping they would really start building up these areas by now. Well, the only thing remaining to do is to go down further or just add more commercial area here instead of this residential area. How's my imports and exports? Still exporting enough that I can get more commercial. Let me here see 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2. Okay, so I can remove this, add more high density commercial. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 lines can be removed from here. Additional line here. Alright, that will provide more open jobs and provide places for the goods to be sold, for the industry not to have to export. But what do I do down here? Here I will have more residential, which is of course not gonna pop up. And then after that I will have to have another zone with industry, commercial and offices. The problem is that if this continues like this and I need this much space for offices, industry and commercial, and a little bit like this for the residential, I'm actually going to run out of space far faster than I'm going to have the population go up to 1 million population. I mean, there's no way I can keep building up areas like this where the areas who are building up workplaces are twice as big as the residential areas. That's not going to be good and not going to provide enough space for all these teams that I need to move in. Perhaps I didn't balance it well enough over here. There is a lot of residential, as you can see, and perhaps not enough commercial. I guess I can get rid of these low density residential zones and instead of them place more high density commercial buildings. That's one of the things that I could do. Like this, this should add more jobs, this should spend more of the industry's goods. Over here I guess I can add some more offices if I don't want more industry. That would go like this then. Over here as well I can get more offices. Well, instead of the offices here I would get more high density commercial areas. Same thing with these. Switch them from offices into high density commercial areas. Same thing with these as well. All the offices will keep going to the right and closer to the industry. Alright, how's the amount of jobs? Still around 2,000 more jobs than employees. Population is at 113,000. Number of births compared to deaths, differential of 100. I guess that's pretty much the only thing that's increasing the population because no new residential buildings are being built up. My income is at around 10,000. I could try reducing the tax down to 10% once again and see if that helps to build up any new buildings of the residential areas. Let's see if that helps. I think these are pretty much the only zones for high density residential in this part of the city. Still nothing. I've run it for several minutes and just nothing happening, so it's not the taxes most definitely. Over here, if I've redone these zones, I need to see about the districts, I just need to make sure that the commercial areas are covered by areas which have the big business benefactor online, while also making sure that the areas that have traffic that have the ban for heavy traffic are not covering the streets that are used by the industry to move its goods around. Alright, that looks good. There should not be any problems with this anymore. Alright, so the commercial demand went down a lot. They're not even building up more. I could reduce the tax, let them build up and then tax them, but they seem to be building up at level 3 with the taxes at 13% well enough that I don't have to change anything. The industrial demand always present, but still nothing new when it comes to the residential buildings. Can probably return their tax now to 11%. If the 10% did not help, going anywhere lower would not help either. There we go, citizens are sick, like I expected to happen from the high amount of noise pollution. I guess I could, I don't know, place some trees here, maybe that will help soak up some of the noise pollution coming off the cargo terminal, the rail cargo terminal. But it's a good question if that even helps a little bit. Sandwiching the residential zones in between commercial zones can be quite dangerous. Still the same 3 high density buildings here, same holes for more buildings here. So yeah, a big problem with the demand for more residents. Still 2,000 jobs not filled. The amount of seniors is going up, the amount of births is going down, so again I'm going to start losing population. Well, this is enough for this video. There's nothing else I can do about the residential demand. I'll try and search the internet for some solution. If you guys have any more ideas, I'm open to any suggestions. Thank you for watching and please stay tuned for more.